President Trump telling Politico that mail-in voting could put his re-election at risk. The president said, quote, "My biggest risk is that we don't win lawsuits. We have many lawsuits going all over. And if we don't win those lawsuits, I think it puts the election at risk." The Trump administration and Republicans have lawsuits in 16 states trying to stop these changes. The president's concerns over mail-in voting come as the New York Times reports that New York City's Board of Elections has been overwhelmed by absentee ballot requests, and 29,000 city residents still don't have a ballot for Tuesday's primary. Well, joining me now, Tom Fitton. He is the president of Judicial Watch. And Tom, it's great to have you here. The president says with these lawsuits, he's depending on it for an election of integrity and electoral integrity. This is very alarming to hear the president say that so much is riding on a judiciary that, frankly, is compromised just every bit as much as other parts of our government.
Well, this has been a state-by-state battle, Lou, to protect the integrity of our elections. The left is using the coronavirus as an excuse to upend our election systems. They're actually suppressing the vote, in my view, by scaring people away from voting in person, which is obviously the most secure way to vote. It's the best way to prevent voter fraud. And in California, they want to swamp the mails with ballots, 20 million ballots. It's not just the presidential race at issue here. You obviously have all these races down ballot for which there will be severe temptation to cheat. And now that's going to be a lot easier to do because our system is going to be overwhelmed with ballots and applications for ballots. And here just in the District of Columbia, they announced they're mailing the ballots to everybody. You know, and there's the dirty, we've proven, we've shown repeatedly, because we've been winning in court to clean up the lists, that the lists across America are filthy in terms of having more people on the rolls than are eligible to vote. And those people, you can be sure, are going to be the groups getting some of these ballots.
So here we are going in to the re-election bid for this president, the election this November. We're less than 5 months away. And where in the hell have the Republicans been to assure electoral integrity? This is, you know, it reminds me of our asking the Chinese not to steal our intellectual property. We have a responsibility to protect ourselves, to protect the integrity. And I, frankly, am deeply, deeply alarmed to hear that the Republican Party isn't ready to wage electoral battle to preserve the integrity of the election, and instead have gone to these courts that are just as compromised in political corruption, I think, as any other part of the federal government, and in some states even more so.
Well, the states have a lot of leeway to change the rules. Now, you're right, but they've been cowed at the state and local level. A lot of Republicans have bought into this fear-mongering. You know, this is why the coronavirus lockdowns needed to be lifted, because it was inevitable that you would have this increased demand for unsecure mail-in ballots. We're now turning over the election, it looks like in many ways, to the United States Postal Service. I tell you, Lou, Election Day is going to be chaotic, much more so than usual. We may not know who won for weeks. It may go to the House in terms of having electoral votes cast aside potentially because of the gamesmanship going on now. This is a crisis, and you're highlighting it, and we're whistling past the graveyard in many respects. Come November, frankly, just come 3 months from now, there's no turning back.
Yeah. Well, I don't know that there is now. I don't understand why the Republicans aren't putting together volunteers, a phalanx for every electoral district in the country, for every polling booth in the country, whatever it takes. Because I've got to tell you, I really believe the American people are so tired of numbskull Republicans who sit on their hands and pander to the corporate establishment and globalist elites who don't give a damn about jobs, don't give a damn about the election, just so long as they can preserve their interests. I mean, it's a sad damn story we're watching.
And the Justice Department can step in as well. We got California, Los Angeles County.
And where the hell are they?
We're doing the work. We're suing in Pennsylvania and North Carolina to clean up 2 million names in those states alone. We alone got Los Angeles County to begin the process of removing up to 1.6 million names, all done without Justice Department help. Once again, they've AWOL. They're either on the other side often, usually certainly under the Obama administration, and under this administration, the Justice Department's been somnolescent.
And the DACA decision. John Roberts strikes again, aligning with the four liberal justices, comes out with mincemeat instead of logic and adherence to originalist, original text. Claiming he's an originalist, and in a way he is. He's the most original thinker I've ever seen as a Chief Justice. I mean, he has the most tortured reasoning process and logic or illogic I've ever seen. Your thoughts about what happens next?
He's an anti-Trumper. He obviously doesn't like Trump. That's why he changes the rules of the game. He promised to be an umpire. Instead, he's banging garbage cans in the dugout like they were doing down there in Houston. And you had the Justice Department, the Trump administration, trying to enforce a Supreme Court decision that put DACA on basically on virtually zero legal footing in terms of being solid. And they were trying to enforce the law. And now the Supreme Court's telling the president he can't enforce the law that the Supreme Court put forward in terms of knocking back the Obama amnesty scheme. This is amnesty. It's illegal, and the president needs to push to stop it.
And not just end it. Tom Fitton, good to have you with us. Appreciate it.